Did ancient Indian philosophers calculate the size of an atom? How did the Hindu rishis, Jains, and Buddhist philosophers differ from each other in understanding atoms? How did the Chinese and the Islamic people view the world? How did discoveries in electricity, magnetism, light, and heat lead to atomic models? How is radioactivity related to Rutherford's atomic model? Why did these models fail and quantum physics arose in 20th century? Let me take you through the fascinating journey of discovering structure of atoms and hence the universe, spanning no less than 2500 years. So, let's go back in time to 600 BC in the Indian subcontinent. Maharshi Kanad, an Indian philosopher, was nibbling on food when he noticed he couldn't break it down further. His hands, however, still smelled like the food he just had. He postulated that matter must be made of small particles. These small particles need to have finite measurement or indivisibility. Otherwise, a grain of sand would be the same as Mount Sumeru. He called this particle Anu. He believed that all of the universe is made of 8 elements: fire, water, earth, space, ether, mind, and self. Each element can be divided into its unique Anu with their intrinsic properties like color. He wrote his observations and thoughts in a book called Vaisheshika Shastra. He theorized that Anu are eternal. With divine play, they come together to form all the matter around us. Maharshi followed the ancient Indian teachings of Vedas and believed that the birth of divine beings, which is non-sexual in nature, must happen from atoms coming together. He estimated Anu to be 7.2 into 10 raised to power minus 8 meters in size, which is 700 times the size of today's atom. How he could estimate this 2500 years back without any modern instruments, just with meditation and observation, is remarkable. Jain philosophy, around the same time, developed with slightly different thinking. Jains believed that Anu particles, irrespective of macroscopic elements like earth, fire, water, are the same. They believed atoms have intrinsic properties which allow them to combine with one another, denying divine intervention. This is in line with Jain philosophy, which does not believe in a creator god. They also believed that atoms have extremely high speeds and could travel across the universe in one moment. However, we know today that no matter particle can exceed the speed of light. Does it contradict Jain belief? Or are they talking about quantum entanglement, where information travels at infinite speed between two particles? Jains believed in two types of motions: Sprashat Gati, motion in macroparticles, and Asprashat Gati, motion in microparticles. It is under this motion that speed is considered infinite. It is mainly ascribed to movement of souls from one plane to another. Buddhist philosophy developed between 2nd century and 6th century CE by philosophers such as Dharmasri, Vasabandhu, and Sanghabhadra, and is written in books like Abhidharmakosh. Buddhists believed that everything is temporary in this world and is created by movement, creation, and destruction of atoms. Atoms are transient momentary flashes in the stream of energy. They are created and destroyed. This understanding may be similar to modern quantum physics theory, where subatomic particles are waves with collapsing wave functions. We will learn more about this in the upcoming videos. Buddhists also believed in subatomic particles. According to a commentary of the Abhidharmakosh, 7 subatomic particles form an atom, 7 atoms form an iron atom, 7 iron atoms form a water atom, and this sevenfold continues on to form particles of rabbit, sheep, elephant, grain, and then finger's width. Later part of Buddhist philosophy divided the human experience into small events. Similar to Hindu Samakya school of philosophy, they divided all things in existence to be made of 3 qualities or gunas: Sattva, which means harmony; Rajas, which means activity; and Tamas, which means inertia. From India, we move to Greece. Around 500 BC, Leucippus and his student Democritus created the foundations of atomic theory that we know today. They believed all matter is made of small indivisible particles called atomos. Atomos are of different shapes and sizes for different elements. Atoms repel each other, similar to head-on collision of two balls in the macro world. How do atoms combine to form objects? Democritus proposed that atoms have hooks on their surface which can help them bind to other atoms. When atoms come in contact with sense organs, they create the sensory experience. Example, bitter taste is created when sharp atoms rub against the tongue. Atoms constantly whirl in vortices around Earth, where Earth is like a drum in the center of cosmos. When atoms collide in space, they catch fire and become sun. Atoms are eternal, but the macroscopic world is transitory, depending on atoms' combination and recombination. Hence, Democritus believed in hedonism, which believes life's objective to have comfort and cheerfulness, as nothing has purpose and the world is made of atoms. Around 400 BC, Plato, another Greek philosopher, disliked Democritus' idea. He believed that simply atoms crashing into each other could never form the beauty of the world. He proposed that universe is made of numbers and right-angled triangles. He theorized how triangles can transform to form solids, which could explain how elements can transform into each other. In his book, fire is made of tetrahedron, air from octahedron, and earth from cube-like particles. Aristotle, however, criticized Plato's philosophy on how substances of weight can constitute from abstract numbers. He believed in natural minima to form matter. Blood and bone should have a natural minimum constituent of earth water atoms before they can form blood and bone. Moving east to China, Chinese philosophers didn't form an idea of uncuttable atoms. Zhuangzi says, cut a stick of 1 cheese length in half every day for 10,000 generations and it will still not be gone. Around 8th century CE in Baghdad, different atomist theories were being developed. They were centered around God for creating atoms from nothing. Abu Bakr al-Razi, an Islamic philosopher, believed atoms were eternal, denying God's intervention. He postulated that atoms were cubical to avoid space between spherical atoms. These atoms could adhere to one another without needing hooks. So far, we delved into philosophies around matter and its constituent particles from around the world. We started around 600 BC with Indian philosophies of Hindu, Jain and Buddhist religions. Maharshi Kanad proposed indivisible matter particle Anu with each element having its own Anu type. Jain philosophy instead believed that all Anu particles are the same. Buddhist philosophy divided the human experience itself into smaller fragments. Greek philosophy developed independently. Around 500 BC, Democritus coined the term atomos. He proposed hook-based mechanism for atom aggregation. Plato believed in a universe made of numbers and triangles. To summarize, while all these philosophies agreed on fundamental indivisible particles, the difference was in the type of atoms and the question of the role of divinity. Further, there was no experimentation to validate these hypotheses or understand how atoms combined. In the next video, we will cover how discoveries across multiple fields in physics, such as electricity, magnetism, optics, and radioactivity, advanced the understanding of structure of atom and the discovery of electrons and protons. Which philosophy did you find the most interesting? Which philosophical thoughts surprised you the most? Please comment below. Do let us know the topics on which you would like us to make more videos. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel Gist.